bad news edition of The Play. Hi, I'm Dave Morris. It's Monday, June 24th, and here's a look at some of the stories that'll receive some play attention in the upcoming editions of the Oklahoman and online at newsok.com, including some bad news. Could mosquitoes be a bigger threat this summer? Some good news, a celebrity chef returning to his home state to help tornado victims. But first, a college president's future is in question. Joining me now with more on these stories, local editor Nick Tragakis. Hope you had a good weekend. Thanks so much for your time for joining us here today.
No problem.
The Redlands Community College Board of Regents called a special meeting on Monday to discuss the future of the college's president. What can you tell us?
Well, this is a meeting that's happening later tonight. We're going to be having a reporter out in El Reno to cover it, and we'll have a full report on News OK and obviously in the Oklahoman tomorrow. This story goes back a couple weeks. A financial report or an audit was put out that found out that Redlands College had about $1 million missing. They couldn't pay their bills. We found out they had several years of back tuition that hadn't been collected. And so it started to really generate a lot of questions about the way they're handling their books there. And it looks like the president, Larry Devane now of the college, has come under a little bit of fire. One thing that could happen at tonight's meeting is he could be fired. They'll likely go into executive session, the board will, and make a recommendation on the president's future.
Very interesting stuff. I mentioned those mosquitoes, and they could be worse this summer. Could they be worse in this summer than in past years, and perhaps why?
Well, what the experts out in the state who study the mosquitoes are telling us is that they are taking very seriously the situation with West Nile virus that we had last year. It was one of the worst on record for the number of cases that we had. What they're doing now is they're being proactive with mosquitoes. Instead of waiting to see how bad the problem is, they're actually setting up a network of traps to catch mosquitoes and test the mosquitoes earlier. If they find one that has West Nile, then they'll go into more extreme measures, if you will, with different kinds of ways to kill mosquito eggs and stuff like that, and hopefully contain the population. So they're trying to get out in front of it this year and maybe head off another situation like we had last summer.
Being proactive about it. Very interesting. You may have seen this on Twitter or News OK if you follow some of our reporters, such as Dave Cathy. There were a lot of people downtown, including our own Greg Singleton, who shot the following footage as celebrity chef Rick Bayless was back in town today. And we'll have complete coverage of his whereabouts today and tonight. What can you tell us about this coverage?
Well, this is a tornado fundraiser that some local chefs have got together on. And Rick Bayless, obviously, he's in Chicago. He's got a trio of restaurants up there. He's an Oklahoma City native, and so he wanted to come back to the area and lend his talents to help with tornado relief. He had a deal downtown in Leadership Square today, a pop-up restaurant they called it.
And that's what we're looking at right here.
He's got two more happening tonight, and one of them is kind of a high dollar, like $500 a plate type thing. And so hopefully it'll generate a lot of funds for tornado victims. But it's just another example of the response we've seen and documented in the newspaper and online of the celebrities and people who have ties to the city coming back and trying to help with relief.
And you know, it's no small matter either. I was reading Dave Cathy, one of his stories and columns about this was that given the previous chef's release and this one, it could be upwards of $150,000 that they've raised going towards tornado relief.
Between that and all the benefit concerts and stuff we have, sure, the numbers are pretty staggering, really.
We caught up with Rick Bayless yesterday. He was out at Francis Tuttle off on Rockwell. One of his mentors, Chef John Bennett, was there and cooked up this chocolate mousse. Nick, I'm not going to lie, it was outstanding.
How can you go wrong with chocolate mousse?
Some shoots are better than others, is all I can tell you.
Right.
Nick, thanks for your time. I appreciate
problem.
it. These stories and more can be found in upcoming editions of the Oklahoman and online at newsok.com. Have a great evening, everyone.